Hey, Lovetti Lafua is my name, and on today's episode, we're going to be dabbling into the different areas and ways by which we can heal perineal tears after birth. But before we go right in, I have noticed that about 60-70% of the people that watch this video do not subscribe. So you want to click on the subscribe button, and this is a way by which the algorithm will help this video reach the people who need it just like yourself. Let's dig right in. Welcome to Inner Compass. And on today's episode, we are going to be talking about healing after birth. Many of times after birth, there is a tear, and many people do not know how to navigate this. So what we're going to do today is we're going to be going into solutions and best methods and ways that which we could go through that. So today, I will be sharing methods that I have used myself, and many of the women will swear by that it has also worked for them. Now, I want you to understand that this is not a medical advice at this time. I want you to really consult your physician, your gynecologist, your midwife, your doctor, if you think that something is off. I'm your host, Lovetti Lafua, a midwife, a registered nurse, registered midwife, biologist. Okay, now let's dig right in. Understanding tears in birth, during birth, is very, very crucial. A means by which you'll be able to walk with them when it happens. Nobody really plans to have a tear during birth, but this happens. And the worst thing that can happen is actually episiotomy. If you've had a natural birth, you might be dealing with tear or episiotomy. Although this is quite not the best thing that we reach for every woman, but it is normal. And it affects 60 to 70% of women that are giving birth. But I want you not to worry, because your body is very efficient in healing. So we have to help our body to heal the right way. All right, let's have a little basic crash course about this. There are different kinds of tear. There is the first grade, which is something that is just layer and it heals almost a few days later. You have the second degree, which is actually a bit more deeper. It gets to the muscles, and most of the times that would need stitching. And then you have the third grade, which is a bit more rare, but it does happen. Now, this hasn't got to do with big babies that much. I think it has to do with the elasticity of the skin. Don't take my word for it, research it. This one can actually get up to the anal area and get up to the capsule. It can really be deep. The third degree tear, which can be very, very severe, sometimes also like the fourth degree, many a times would need a medical care. Well, I'm not a pro-medical, but when it comes to things like this, like I said in my last video, we need to use science to our own favor, right? Many women do have stitches after birth. Now, while these can actually dissolve over time, sometimes it can be uncomfortable and it can actually lead to swelling or even some sort of pain, discomfort. So therefore, how do we go through healing? Let's go through some tried and some also very used method by women, as well as, of course, midwives and doulas have also advised women to use this method. Number one, the granny panties and the disposable underwear. You know those underwear that feels like you're wearing a diaper? You know, it sometimes really look good though, because your hip will look really curved and all that. Well, this is something that you could use at this time. It is vital for you to understand that you're not going to be wearing all those cute underwear that we wear, you know, and those high-waisted one. You need a granny panties or disposable mesh underwear. Yes, that's what you need. Hold up, you would also look beautiful in it if you want to. Okay, the reason why I like this is because it reduces friction, allows circulation, and of course, this is very essential for healing. Number two, your body needs rest. Yes, you heard me right. Being in a restful fish mermaid-like position is very essential at this time. What happens is when you lay on a side in a mermaid cross-leg side position, this automatically reduces strain on the stitches and on the area that has been stitched, right? And as we know, the less pressure we put on that area, the better for us. Number three is ice pads or the frozen padsicles. The way by which this is done is a normal pad is soaked in aloe vera, lavender, or witch hazel, any of these herbs that you can get hold of, and then freeze it overnight. Now, This can actually reduce the pain a whole lot. This can also be done otherwise. So in the sense, warm. So first of all, you warm it around heat and then you soak it and put it in the area. But many women don't seem to like that because the pad is still very wet. So that's why I advise the one that is frozen. But not to forget, this shouldn't be done for a very long time because you still need warmth in the area. We don't want that area to be too cold, right? So after a couple of days, I advise you to then have a sit bath, a warm damp, not a sit bath, but a damp bath where you sit on a pedestal or something where you feel the heat in that area. This is the ancient healing method. Keep the wounds dry. This is very vital. Many people underestimate this, keeping the wounds dry. It makes sense to me why people in the hospital or nurses and doctors in the hospital will actually give a woman, like a catheter so that the woman does not have to move. That area doesn't get wet. Well, it doesn't get wet from urine, it gets wet from other stuff, right? Okay, let's get serious here. Really staying dry is a way by which you can prevent lots of infection that might be going around in the area. It's very important for you to understand that you want to be changing your pads as well. Changing the pad and airing the stitches is also very, very vital. Also, not to forget, you want to avoid sitting on wet underwear or clothes. You want to really avoid that. That is something that you don't want to mess around with because you might be unintentionally breathing things that are meant to be in that place. Bed rest is very vital. So rest. I like women to say, like I said initially, lay in a mermaid position. So lay down and cross your leg and rest. Okay, now let's talk about bathroom and perineal care. One of the greatest fears that women have, especially when they have tear, is going to the bathroom. That can be very uncomfortable. I know that, believe me. However, there are ways we can make it easier for a woman who is in this situation. One is by using the peri bottle instead of wiping. A peri bottle is actually, it's nothing other than a normal bottle where you can put warm water and use that when you urinate or use the bathroom instead of wiping. So you're not rubbing the area to make it irritated. Does that make sense? Stool softeners are very important at this time as well, especially for the women who had gone through the 3rd and the 4th grade of that. That could be very, very devastating. So you want to use fiber-rich food so that when you use the bathroom, it's softer, right? You don't want to be pressing too hard to remind you of that pain. These are all the kind of trauma that can stay there if care is not taken. It's very, very important. There's also the betadine solution. It's also a solution that you could use to wash up afterwards. It's good for healing as well. In other cultures, before there was medicine, people use raspberry leaf and witch hazel, soak them in water and use them when they're a bit soft, that water to wipe off. So you got it. Now you know there are some ways by which you can actually take care of these wounds and make them heal successfully and you feel comfortable. Now, I need to make this out clear here. If you're a midwife, a nurse, a doula, or whoever who deals with stitches, it is important that some stitching, some suture training is taken. If you want to know more about ways that you can stitch and you can actually do this because you are attending to birth at home and sometimes you don't want to go to the hospital just because of a 2nd grade or 3rd grade, then I need you to follow the link below. It's amazing. It's something you can really assess for a very long time. And hey, see you there because every doula, midwife, nurse, doctor, we need to know how to suture. Having said all of that, if the stitching are feeling worse instead of getting better, then maybe it is time to see your physician, your midwife, or maybe the care provider that attended to that birth. Here are a few signs for you to know it is time to see a doctor or to see your midwife. One of them is a foul smell. This foul smell can be very, very irritating and, not like egg, but really like a rotten egg smell. Another one is the swelling. If the area is swelling and it's not getting any better, then you should see a physician or your midwife. And also, instead of this pain getting better, it's getting worse, you also want to see a physician. I know that the pain will be there and it might be difficult for you to tell at the beginning, but hey, if after 4 days, now you can't close your leg, you could close your leg 3 days ago, then it's time to see a physician. Lest I forget, bad smell, like I said, discharges that are very uneasy, as well as chills. So if you're feeling feverish, then it's most likely that there's an infection somewhere. Maybe it's not there fully yet, but it's brewing, so it's growing. And we don't want it to grow, especially not after having a child whom we have to attend to and take care of the baby and ourselves, right? Fact remains that most tissues would disappear within 2-3 weeks. Healing, a real intensive healing, might take up to 6 weeks. Now, it is very important to understand that you trust your body and let your body do its work. But then it's also very vital for you to trust your gut. So if you sense that something isn't working right, hey, up you go, see a doctor. It's very important, all right? I can't say enough about that, because sometimes when women call me after some days or weeks, I'm like, what were you waiting for? We didn't have to get this far. You know what I mean? As you know, my name is Lovetti Lafua. I am that midwife who talks about the traditional way of going through motherhood, as well as a scientific way. So we're bridging in the gap. We're trying to merge it and put things together. And now it is time for us to go into the part where we say traditional way of healing our bodies after birth. Let's go. Number one is the raspberry leaf tea. Very good for the strengthening of the uterus, as well as the postpartum healing in general. You want to add witch hazel or yarrow to your hot water that you're sitting on to, have a sitz bath. This is very good, and it heals that area as well. This is something that many people have used over the years, regardless of anywhere in the world. This is something that is really, really a worldwide thing. Use it to treat that area. Of course, that is if you do not have any access to a doctor, or at that time it's very mini, so why not? And I also strongly encourage oils, essential oil like candelilla, like chamomile, like frankincense. These are very good for that area. So a little bit of perineal massage. Now, don't do this while it's still open. You want to do this afterward, like I said, because it takes about 2 to 3 weeks for the wound to heal itself. But the intensive healing comes from within, and that takes up to 6 weeks. And it's after you've noticed that this healing has taken place, the first phase, then you want to start massaging that area with these amazing essential oils. I have added a link below that you can use when you want to dabble into the traditional part, as well as if it's really, really important for you to understand that as a nurse, a midwife, a doula, any kind of birth keeper that you are, that you know how to suture. So underneath is also a link for you that you can assess the cost for suturing. Now, healing after birth is another journey on its own. And the key to this is staying rested, staying hydrated, and asking for help when needed. And of course, do not forget to trust your body and listen to your gut. If you found this episode useful for you, make sure to share this link to other people that might need it. Remember, your body has just produced life. And if there's one thing you can do for yourself, is to love it, cherish it, and care for it. My name is Lovetti Lafua, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode where we will have to be dabbled into the newest news that's happening around the birthing sector. See you guys soon.